Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's live. I am here today to help you process those emotions that are going to be triggered coming up in the next kind of step that we're going to go through in writing out your story and kind of looking at things from the past. Hey, Stephanie. So I'm just going to wait kind of a couple minutes, or I see a bunch of people jumping on here. I'm really excited. Hi, Rhonda. Yes, I think you guys are going to love this because it's been so helpful for me. It's been helpful for Natasha, I know. And the last challenge, it was definitely a hit. All right. So we have some people on here. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick introduction. I'll say I got a little behind, but remember, we don't get behind in this challenge. We're exactly where we're supposed to be, so I don't want to say I got behind, but I haven't done my intro yet. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Melissa Walsh. I'm an energy medicine practitioner and spiritual mentor. I help people free themselves from emotional and physical pain without reliving the past so they can be who they're meant to be today and fulfill their heart's desires. My other role that you'll see here in the background, I'm also a physician assistant, and so today is a clinic day, and that's why I wasn't able to make it this morning with Natasha, so I appreciate this time to hop on now. Most of you know that I'm Natasha's mentor as well, and she's had such great results from this release process that's why I'm here to share it with you guys. All right. Hey, Sarah. Okay, so let's start. I'm just going to kind of make up this example of what may happen. So one of the exercises that you're going to do is write out the story. And some of you may think, oh my gosh, this is dreadful. Who wants to relive that whole past stuff? Well, when you start writing, there's going to be certain aspects to your past that just want to come forward. It's probably not going to be like every single grueling detail. I mean, that's not necessary. Whatever it is that you guys need to release is going to come to the forefront, and you're going to just be prompted to write that. Kind of like this automatic writing thing. But in that, things might be triggered. You're going to have an emotion come up, a memory come up, and then what are you going to do with it? And you guys, people don't teach us what to do with that. So what we know to do is we stuff, because we don't have time for that. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to be upset. I'm too busy. Got to keep it going. We stuff it, we sweep it under the rug, we move on. And then it kind of goes away, but then it's coming back, right? So here's what you do. You have this trigger, and you're feeling something, let's say it's triggering guilt. And in that moment, while you're feeling the guilt, remember, this is a good thing because you have to feel it in order for it to release and be gone for good. And like Natasha had already mentioned, everything is energy, so the emotions are just a charge. And because it's a charge that you're feeling, it can shift. So you're feeling kind of this guilt. In that moment that you're feeling it, you're going to look at it. You're going to look at it from an observer's point of view. Knowing it's not really yours. It's a charge. It's a charge that is only a result of an experience. It's not, how you feel is not due to the experience. What you're feeling is a result, the charge from the experience. So it's not the experience that's really the important part anymore. Although we can say well, if that didn't happen to me, then I wouldn't even have this charge to release, right? Well, it just is the way it is. So we're not focusing on the experience anymore. We're focusing on this charge that our brain has cataloged into our body that's ready to go. We know it's ready to release because we're feeling it. We have to feel it for it to release. Okay. So, you're riding, you have like guilt come to the surface, and you're like, whoa. Like, I call them taking hits. Like, you just took this emotional hit. Like, okay, great. Now I don't want to feel like that. What do I do with it? You're going to look at this emotion from an observer's point of view, recognizing that it's not really you, because what you are is an infinite being of love and light. End of story. I don't even know, you guys, but I can say with 100% certainty and accuracy that you are an infinite being of love and light, and anything that's not that can go. Like, it has the potential to shift out because it's something that's a program, a wiring, a pattern, something you've taken on, something you're corded to, whatever. So you're looking at this guilt, you're feeling it, and now you're able to look at it and say, okay, this isn't really me, because I sure don't feel like love and light right now. All right, now what? So just the fact that you're bringing awareness to this emotion of guilt, and you're recognizing that that's not really who you are, it's the charge, that's half the battle, so to speak. Like, it's already halfway shifting. Now, we're going to send it gratitude. Now, you're like, I'm not thankful for the guilt, right? That's not what it's about. What you're thankful for is it's coming up, you're feeling it, so it can go and be gone for good. Or as long as possible, right? We're taking a high vibration, a high vibrational charge that's within the gratitude, and we're sending that to the guilt, which is a low vibrational charge, and that's going to help it shift. Because even physics tells us that low vibes can't exist in the presence of high vibes. I mean, you can take, for example, you can take a room full of people who are depressed and a room full of people who are happy. Okay, happiness is high vibes, depression is low vibes. If you put all these happy people in with people who are not happy, you know what really happens? The depressed people start to feel a little better. And they start smiling more, and their spirits feel uplifted. That's all because of the vibes. So, we're taking gratitude. If you can send it love, awesome. But oftentimes when we're shifting out of these big things, like to be honest, love is a stretch for us sometimes, and that's okay. So gratitude is our go-to. So we're going to send this guilt that we're looking at, recognizing it's not us, and we're going to send it gratitude because we're thankful that it's coming up to be released. Because there's no way it would be released and out of our system and free if it wasn't that we were feeling it. Like, we had to feel it. So we're thankful for this. Now, recognizing some of these big things are very difficult for us to even go there by ourselves. Like, we were not put on earth to do this alone. We were put here to connect with Source, right? That's our driving force. That's what's paving our path. And so connect with that. Ask Source, Creator, God, angels, guides of highest white light, whoever you're connecting with, ask for the help in the moment. Be like, okay, I'm recognizing this isn't me. This is not of highest white light. I'm so thankful it's coming up. I'm looking at it. I'm feeling it. Now help me shift it. When you link arms with your team, I call them light team, okay? Your source, your light, and you ask for that help, it shifts a lot faster. And then you can even kick it up a notch with a visualization and see a waterfall of light, a light beam, whatever you resonate with. I usually do the waterfall because I feel like it's a washing over me thing. See it in that moment, it's a charge, and you see it leaving and washing. Now, you'll notice some things take 30 seconds to shift and you feel this peace and you're like, wow. It might take 3 hours, it might take 3 days, but it's shifting. When you do this process, it is shifting and it's shifting out. Now, what if, here's a situation, what if you're in an office meeting and somebody says something that's a trigger? And here you're at this table and you're like, it's not time for that. Like, you're thinking about this video and you're like, I can't go through my whole thing that Melissa just said in the middle of this office meeting, so now what do I do with it? It's okay to stuff it in that moment. It's okay to ignore it and stuff it in that moment, but the trick is you have to come back to it before you go to bed. So before you go to bed later, think back to that office meeting when you wanted to like strangle the person across the desk. Okay, maybe that's a little extreme. Maybe not. But take your mind back to that meeting where you were feeling like those feelings like bubble up and those triggers. And when you feel it again, that's your opportunity to shift it. Because remember, you have to feel it to shift it. So it's coming up because it's supposed to shift. It's ready to shift. We don't choose what's ready to shift, really. You know, Source picks that when it's time. If we're taking the opportunity to make it happen. So as you're remembering and you're feeling those emotions that you had in that office meeting, that's the time to do the thing that I just took you through. You're looking at it, you're feeling it. You look at it from the observer's point of view, recognizing this doesn't feel like the infinite being of love and light that I am. Sending it gratitude, asking Source, Creator, God, angels, your light team, to help you shift this. You're seeing it like a waterfall of light leaving your body. End of story. And then you move on. That in itself will shift it. If you don't go back to it before you go to bed, it'll probably go away. And you'll be on to the next thing. And it'll come up some other time. And then when it comes up at that time, then you're going to do that thing. Now, it takes a little practice because what usually happens is after you learn this and after this video, you're going to go on your regular way and day and you're going to have a trigger and you're going to go back to the same way that you're used to handling it, which is usually ignoring it, overreacting, stuffing it, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Do not be hard on yourself because in this process, we're actually kind of rewiring our little brain pathways too, because we're just used to doing it a certain way. I like to use the analogy on this part for, you know, like when you're used to going to your job, like you drive every morning at a certain day, a certain time, and you're drinking your coffee and you're talking on the phone and you get to work and you're like, how did I even get here? Oh, that's not good. But you're so used to going that certain way. Well, then what happens? You get a new job and you're on the phone, you're drinking your coffee, and you miss the exit. And you're like, shoot, I was supposed to exit. Well, that's okay. You just take a different way, a little bit longer route, but you still get to work. Now, the next day, you're more aware now, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm paying attention. I'm consciously putting effort into this morning. I'm not going to be on the phone today, and my coffee's in the cup holder, and you're really paying attention to the road, and you're like, okay, here's my exit. Do not forget to exit. And you make your exit. Now, within a week or two, you're probably going to be back to talking on the phone, drinking your coffee, and not even thinking twice about the exit. So the same thing is going to happen with this process. At first, when you have the triggers, you may have a natural tendency to go in your old ways. But because of this video and you guys listening to this kind of strategy, it's now being brought to conscious awareness for you to practice it. And it's not going to take long. You'll be responding to situations. You'll be shifting things left and right because it's time. Like it just is. It's part of the state of the world we're in. It's part of where you are as an individual. You're feeling it because it's time for it to go. We just didn't know how to release it. And you know, Some people say, gosh, I wish I knew how to do this 20 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of grief. No, you weren't supposed to know how to do it 20 years ago because you're exactly where you're supposed to be today. You weren't supposed to know how to do this 20 years ago. It wasn't time for those things to be released, but it's time now. So, let's see. Anything else? I don't think so. I don't know if it's posted in this group, but I'll double check. But I do have a handout that has kind of a summary of everything I just talked about and kind of a step-by-step thing as a reference that you guys can look at and kind of read over that and start practicing. And if you have any questions, shoot them my way. Natasha has this mastered, so, you can ask her as well. But, yeah, thanks for listening and joining me this afternoon. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and take care.